is ANN News Brief.
South Africa has begun an aggressive screening program that sends health officials door to door. This as the infection rate tops 1,000, the highest in Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced the new program on Monday to ensure larger numbers of screenings are carried out in a new prong against the COVID-19 outbreak. The country is already a few days into a 21-day lockdown the government believes would help in curbing the spread of the virus. Many violators of the lockdown order have been arrested by police. So far, the continent has recorded more than 5,000 positive cases and 173 deaths. The coronavirus pandemic has caused South Sudan to suspend troops rotation in its peacekeeping operation. The move is aimed at preventing the spread of the novel coronavirus, but this has raised procedural concerns and poses immediate and longer-term implications. 5 Asian countries are affected by this suspension. China, South Korea, India, Nepal, and Cambodia contribute a third of 16,000 peacekeeping staff currently deployed by the United Nations mission in South Sudan. Some experts believe this decision to suspend the troop rotation will have an immediate effect on the mission and the UN's broader peacekeeping capacity. It is also believed there would be implications for long-term peace and stability in South Sudan. Experts say a prolonged stalled troop rotation would very likely cause severe fatigue among troops overdue for replacement. Rotations usually happen every 12 months. We'll be right back.
We are on the road every day, canvassing throughout Africa for news you really need. We follow this story everywhere, from every corner of Nigeria to the wide African expanse. We bring you what's making headlines. We connect you with news you can use. ANN, African News Network, in a truly African spirit.
The United Nations is calling for a $2.5 trillion COVID-19 support package for developing countries. The world body says $1 trillion should be made available through the expanded use of special drawing rights. It is also calling for the cancellation this year of $1 trillion of debt owed by developing countries. The UN also says $500 million will be needed to fund a Marshall Plan for health recovery and dispersed as grants. The UN says such a support package would turn expressions of international solidarity into meaningful global action for 2/3 of the world's population living in developing countries. A report by UNSTAC, the UN Trade and Development Body, says the pandemic has dramatically hit developing countries with economic shockwaves, even when compared to the 2008 global financial crisis. The trade body says fiscal and foreign constraints will tighten further over the course of the year and would require a $2 to $3 trillion financing gap for developing countries over the next 2 years. That is ANN News Brief at 11. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I'm Lucy Adiemi.